All right. Theme music plays.
Sort of credits roll, like pre-credits.
There's like 20 minutes of credits.
Yeah. Jennifer Tilly's in it.
Jennifer Tilly is the little doll, right?
In what?
Chucky, Child's Play.
Oh, I've never seen it, famously.
Famously, we've never seen it. All right. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome
back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
To Hot Topic with Pickle and Bailey.
This is our third iteration. You might have noticed.
No. We were on hiatus from our last iteration. We took a year.
But before that, we also took several months.
I don't remember that at all.
There are a lot of lost episodes, and
we'll
not
pull
for
them
fun.
up
Yeah.
for a price.
For a price.
We've had a long history of giving up.
This podcast started with me and Pickle in Pickle's living room with a broken Yeti that we were both trying to share.
I insisted wasn't broken.
Yeah. And it wasn't for a time, but we didn't even go as far as to research the settings on that microphone. So it was like recording the ceiling.
We just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, and because it was hard. So anyway.
Long story short, we took a pause.
For a year.
And then just never we took a break to think it over.
Yeah. And
then luckily Bailey's boyfriend, the famous Kyle Ayers, shout out host of Never Seen It, has a podcast studio.
Yeah.
So Hot Topic, we are keeping the name, but we're going to sort of shift it up. So I'm Pickle, I'm a drag queen.
True.
Etc. Bailey is comedy, ukulele.
I'm a comedy. I'm a
content creator.
Yeah.
Girl, human.
Sort of infamously online, sort of around my neighborhood as well.
Yes. All those places. You can catch, she famously antagonizes all men.
Yeah. Well, some
of the
men.
internet.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what we've been up to.
That's who we are.
There have been some updates to our careers. Pickle is now the drag laureate of West Hollywood, the second ever drag laureate in the world.
By 3 weeks, the second.
Yeah. You just couldn't quite get in there.
Not quite first, but second, which is almost like, it's almost like you want to be first or you want to be like 50th.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's a long history.
Because, like, who even was the second president of the United States? It's not possible to know. Kyle, could we research that?
It's definitely John Adams.
There's nothing about it online.
Oh, or Thomas
that's
Jefferson.
What I'm saying.
Oh, there's no way of even knowing.
No, here, you could ask Jeeves.
Thomas Jefferson?
Thomas.
He was
It's Adams.
The third. It was Adams, so I was right the first time. Let the record reflect.
See, there you were. You were first, and you were right.
I was first. Well, I know John Adams. We share a common experience.
Sure.
Of being powerful second.
Yeah. And it is powerful and it is exciting and very cool.
It is. And that's nice. And Bailey, of course, has continued her exploding TikTok career. You laugh, but it's true.
I do. It's something I grapple with because I'm like, this sucks, right, to be on the internet, but it is also kind of like the only thing
everything
to do.
Is horrible, but we know that.
That's so true.
There's
and
no success that isn't laced with just regret and fear. Every
Disgust.
writer wants to be an actor. Every actor wants to be a writer.
Every comedian wants to be a rock
comedian wants
star.
to be a serious actor. Every serious actor wants to be a musician. Every musician wants to be a ballerina. And no one wants to be a drag queen. That's just the cycle of life. So what we're going to do on this podcast is each of us is going to pick a topic or sort of a thing and bring it to the table, and we will research it and discuss it.
That's right. So it's still a hot topic, but it's fewer hot topics than what you might be used to.
I mean, who can even remember what we were doing last time?
I barely
it was
do.
Truly centuries
We haven't had
ago.
an episode out in 13 months.
A hiatus. A long hiatus.
Yeah. Should I kick us off with our first topic?
Well, I thought, how are you today?
Oh my God. Fine. I'm angry, actually.
Why are you angry?
I'm angry because you have something to do with this.
What? Are you angry at me and you waited to tell me until we were on camera?
I'm angry at the world, and you brought something to my attention that has been frustrating, but also great. And the thing is that I learned is you can be incredibly hot by just eating enough protein.
Oh.
You can have the body of your dreams if you just eat enough protein. And I didn't know that. And
I didn't know that either. No one told me.
No, well, the thing is, I feel like people do talk about it, but I didn't listen.
I've never heard of protein. It's interesting because I think what it is that it's not driven home thoroughly. It's all comes back to like, of course I've been like, I eat generally clean and we know the rules. It's like, it's very simple, like, balanced diet, rice, fish, vegetables, blah, blah. You can't, all those fancy diets, we all know it's not true. All of it is garbage.
Right.
It's really simple, but no one even within that was really driving home protein.
Yeah. Like no one said to me,
this is a fitness podcast.
We talk only about wellness, and longtime listeners will know that.
Yeah, we've always been health gurus.
Extremely health conscious. You're supposed to eat 1 gram of protein for 1 pound of body weight that you have.
Yeah, 0.7 to 1.
Yeah.
Depending on your activity level.
I told Kyle this, and he said, you have to eat 100 grams of protein a day. And it was the most flirted with I've ever been.
That is such a good...
it was very smooth, yeah.
Opportunity taken.
I Googled what to say in case she ever said something like that. So I had that one in the holster for a while.
She's just been waiting for her...
It's been written on my hand.
To find out about protein. It's just like sweating off your hand just for years.
It's been backwards on my forehead for a long time.
You're the one who like tipped someone off to tell me. Well, I got a training mate, which is high intensity interval training, but they all have Australian accents. That's kind of their shtick.
Yeah.
And they're very positive. And one of the trainers told me that I would be unstoppable if I ate more protein.
Right.
Which is mean. No, I mean, I was asking about a book, and you just kind of came right out with that.
What happens in the last Harry Potter? And
he was like, you need to eat more protein. But I was fishing around for feedback.
Okay.
So it wasn't unwarranted.
Okay,
and it's true. And that's a lot of protein. We are both active, so it is 0.7 to 1. I think less active people need less. And of course, everyone's going to, all the 4 people that listen to this are going to chime in with their thoughts about protein and like, well, actually, it's 0.64 to 7. Everyone has to be right.
And we welcome sort of that criticism.
We don't.
No, I do.
Okay, well, I don't.
Another thing that
I'm at all at Bailey.
So I started eating like enough protein. And I've been like lifting weights and doing like less cardio. And I've noticed a significant change already. And that's frustrating. But then the other thing is I have this app that does an AI scan of your body. And it tells you sort of where it places you, like your activity level and your BMI and things like that. So it scanned my body and it went, this is a sedentary 29-year-old female.
See, but it's not, AI isn't, that's all flashy AI. AI is not sophisticated enough yet.
I said out loud in the gym to myself, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, but that, like, AI is not sophisticated enough to make, like, body scan analysis.
But it is sophisticated enough to make you hate yourself.
Feel awful.
Yeah, totally.
But we have to be very cautious with and I know that we're probably 20 minutes in already. We're talking just about AI, but we have to, and so we needed 3 more hours for this. But we have to be very cautious because AI is so hyped up right now that like all these companies are pouring just billions of dollars into AI to like come up with all these flashy things that the technology is not even ready for yet.
Yeah.
So like it's like there that you go. You get an app that's like, oh, it'll tell you your BMI and it's wrong because you do not live a sedentary lifestyle.
No.
So it's like immediately, at least ChatGPT is very upfront with what it can't do. It'll tell you. It'll be like, I'm not ready for that. No, they're just trying to be ahead of the game.
I had to remind myself, I was like, this is a sales tactic because afterwards there was like a little button that popped up and it was like, if you want a more in-depth reading, you can pay like $29 for, and I'm okay, well then you're not.
All the AI bots are just going to be like, you're a horrible slob.
Yeah, ew. It just comes up.
It just comes up, just goes, ew, you're gross.
God. Yeah.
Do you have $20? I can read your fortune.
I can literally fix this, but I need $29.99.
I need $29.99, which I'll send to a Nubian prince who will send back a fax of your BMI. Yeah. Okay. So
anyway,
you're eating protein.
Yeah.
I'm eating protein.
Yeah.
I do like the protein.
I do too. I feel
At least
pretty
it's
good.
not one of the bummer food groups.
Yeah, which is what?
I don't know. Like, I would be bummed if it was like, you need to eat your weight in lettuce.
Sure.
But no one says that. Lettuce is basically water.
But I kind of think that is like at least the mindset that I've had with fitness is like, oh, in order to be healthy, all I can do is eat vegetables, and I need to do 3 to 4 hours of cardio a week for it to even make a dent. And that's just not true. It's just not true.
It's true. It's all lies.
But there was a point where that's what I was doing. I was doing an incredible amount of cardio, and I was like, it was impossible to keep up with. And now I'm like, oh, you can have a reasonable lifestyle and like be healthy. It just seems like someone should have said that earlier.
I agree. But it's all like, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I've been reading a book that I would like to recommend to our listeners that I'm not being asked to, called Young and Restless: The Girls Who Sparked America's Revolution by Maddie Kahn.
Okay.
And it's really good. It's about specifically like teenage girls or like younger girls who have been at sort of the core of like big movements, like the Mill Girls back in the mills, the Lowell Mills.
I will speak for myself. I don't know what any of that is.
So it's just like basically it's like a lot of revolutions, like civil rights and all these places, and it sort of explores like the role that young girls or younger women played, and kind of it's really specific, but it's very interesting. And it talks about how, like, you know, a lot of female activists are like, you know, in their prime when they're young, and then as they transition, it's like hard because then society is like, well, we don't want this like older woman yelling at us. It's like,
oh, sure, because that's shrill.
Time. Yeah, it becomes shrill.
That's really interesting. What turned you on to this?
I was listening to a podcast and they recommended it. A very famous podcast.
The cycle continues.
Kara Swisher and Scott Galloway. They have a couple more listeners than we do, but
I doubt it.
Just by single digits, probably. But what struck me about it was this sort of like this faulty belief that like our family structure has always been like, oh, the man like earns the keep and like, you know, protects the family, like earns the money, and the woman is. But what's turning out is that in a lot of these time periods, girls and the women were also earning money or needed to be earning money, and they just kept it on the DL because it was seen as emasculating. So it's like all that, and you know how I feel like they're always turning around and being like, well, this has always been the structure, you know, it's like men have always had to do this, so we give like men a lot of that excuse of like they had to be the breadwinners. Turns out in a lot of these family structures, they weren't even the breadwinners. They were the primary bread earners, but like the wives and the girls were like, you know, sewing gloves on the side to contribute to the family income. So it's all a lie. Wow. Shocker. Wow. Anyway, I just wanted to
That's really interesting. I mean, I'm constantly thinking about masculinity and emasculation and like.
Well, it's kind of your bread and butter.
It's definitely something that I consider a lot, and that's really fascinating that it's like it goes that far back and probably even further back. But that's like it's like a male lion being like, "Hey, babe, don't tell anyone that you're the one who usually hunts," and I just like fuck. Yeah. That's because it's like I don't know. Historically, in the animal kingdom, like females are they are breadwinners, like so to speak, like.
Yeah, and I think that our society reflects that a little bit more than we've let on. Yeah. Where it's like we've got this common notion that it's like, oh, the man earns the bubba, which of course, like we've all talked about that like endlessly, like but it's actually a facade. It's like, actually hasn't even been that way, which I'm sure a lot of people are like.
So just like male embarrassment is really the thing that outlasts and outshines all.
Everything. I mean, yeah, our planet will melt because men are Too ashamed.
Wait, which I think is a good segue to the thing that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so Bailey's topic. Ding, 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 ding. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. What are those? You know. Topic number 1. Boo. Big hubbub. The topic that Bailey brought in. Thank you.
I wanted to talk about Travis Kelce and his misspelled tweets. And not maybe for the reason that you would think.
What would we think?
I think people might be like, "Oh, you're a misandrist. Like you are gonna hate on this man, and you're gonna make fun of him."
What is a misandrist?
It's like a misogynist, but the woman version.
Oh, so it's like a made up thing.
It's like when people are like
you're
racist against white people.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
That's it.
Right. Love that.
yeah. But Travis Kelce is tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, famously dating Taylor Swift. A lot of his tweets came out over the last week or so, and they're old
Should we
tweets.
get a little background on Travis?
Yeah. Oh, please.
Would you like
did some research?
Read. So first, who is? I'm a layman. Who is Travis Kelce?
Yeah. Do you want to read what you?
Yeah, I'll read the research and I'll rustle the paper so you really know.
Oh yeah, definitely get that sound in there. I also just want to point out that Pickle did some really great research with headlines like "Who is Travis Kelce? What is football? And what is a tight end?"
Okay,
LOL.
well, our listeners might not know, and they need information so that we really get a portrait.
I think it's helpful.
We just know Travis. Already tense. We just know Travis Kelce as Taylor Swift's love interest at the moment.
Sure.
And or product endorsement of Taylor Swift. But what is true is that Travis Kelce, born in 1989, 1989, is an American football tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs of the National Football League, which is commonly shortened to NFL. He was drafted by the Chiefs, which is short for the Kansas City Chiefs and is slightly offensive, in the 3rd round of the 2013 NFL draft, and later won Super Bowls LIV. I'm not sure what that is. What is L in Roman numerals?
I don't know. Is it 20? Kyle, can you hop in?
It's 54.
Oh,
So it's 50. L is 50. Okay. We can edit that out so we sound smart. Okay. Super Bowls 50 and 50. 55 and 50, whatever. Okay, he's a football player. What is football? American football is a team sport played by 2 teams of 11 players on a rectangular field with goalposts at each end. The offense, which is the team with possession of the oval-shaped football, attempts to advance down the field by running with the ball or passing it, while the defense, the team without possession of the ball, aims to stop the offense's advance and to take control of the ball for themselves.
As someone who's a somewhat new football fan, I just recently, in the last year, started watching football. I can confirm all of this is correct.
Okay, good. We've got people on the ground. And the points are they get the ball through the thing. And then he's specifically a tight end, which is an offensive position.
I think maybe we should stress that it's offensive.
Okay. Which is an offensive position. Offensive position. And it's a hybrid that combines the characteristics and roles of both an offensive lineman and a receiver.
Yeah.
And there's something about like flanks, but we can't get into that.
It gets football gets very complex. Oh yeah. So
boyfriend.
He's like just very in the public eye right now, and kind of was anyway. The Chiefs are like, they just won the Super Bowl last year. They're very famous. They're doing great. He like hosted SNL. He's very like,
he was already very, very famous.
He was already very famous. He's like, I don't know, very handsome. Like he's funny, charming, good at football. Like he's already in the public eye. Then he starts dating Taylor Swift. Then even more in the public eye. And so, as anyone in the public eye sometimes will find out, their old tweets will be dug up and
interesting that once he started dating Taylor Swift, then he's in the public eye of people who do stuff like that. creep on your old tweets.
1,000%.
No one was digging those up before.
No. I mean, weirdly, no.
Well, not. I mean,
I guess people.
Football fans, are they sitting there being like, I wonder what he used to tweet?
I don't think so. Because it would have happened. I mean, Travis has been playing for the Chiefs for how long? Like 10 years.
10 years?
He's 34. Like he's one of the elderly in football.
Ancient.
And yeah, it is weird. At least to my knowledge, these tweets have never come back up, and they're old tweets too. Like a lot of them reference him being in
which
school.
means someone just went back. Although
Like,
I guess
all the
there's
way.
easy ways to like go to the beginning.
Yeah. But the great thing is, I don't think anyone found anything damning at all.
No, just misspelled.
Yes,
Can I
Kyle.
check? I don't think football fans look at resurfaced tweets for a couple reasons. They're mostly older men, and they don't know how to do that on Twitter.
Great
and
point.
then whenever they do it, they find out they were like probably said the N-word when they were 15. Like,
Well, and even then, a lot of them
Yeah.
probably wouldn't care, right?
yeah, so that nothing really
generalization.
good has come from it. So I think like,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to ruin this guy for me. I know where he was January
Right.
6th. I don't need to look it up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I'd
It's
like to
already
point out
established.
that probably whoever was going around sniffing for those tweets was looking for something.
Yes, I think that's
I don't
definitely.
think they were like, oh, I wonder like what he liked to do in high school.
I don't think anyone's ever looked through back tweets to see how funny someone used
No.
to be.
Used to be, yeah.
No, this was a Swiftie who was like, "Oh, Taylor's
He's not
dating
right for
this
her.
piece of shit." Like,
She's perfect.
exactly. But I love that what they found instead can really only be described as adorable.
Yeah.
He spells Chipotle like my mom says Chipotle, which is Chipotle, which is C-H-I.
Oh, I read it as Chipotle.
Chipotle. Have you ever, I guess you don't spend a lot of time in the Midwest, but like it's a thing where a
No,
lot
never
of
been.
Midwestern moms will say Chipotle. And like
Okay.
it's just very accepted.
Chipotle.
Like no one bats an eye because like people know what you're talking
That's
about.
like my dad calls Tapatio Tempactico.
Well, that's crazy.
And I'm just like, that's like he added letters.
He added a C in Tapatio.
Tempactico. He
Tempactico.
added like an M and Tempact. What is that called? When I don't know. Who cares?
If he had just called it Tapatio, that would have been very
That would have
charming.
made sense, but Tempactico. He's just
Tempactico.
adding. That's not even like, oh, I'm looking at the label and I'm getting letters mixed up.
No.
It's like I saw the label and decided
the
no,
label
no, no.
was wrong.
no.
I am
I've
right.
got a better one.
So Travis Kelce calls Chipotle and also
Chipotle.
really
If it were Chipotle, there'd be an accent on the E.
I don't think that he's anywhere near that territory. I don't think that would ever come up. Chipotle. All right, so Chipotle, I think Chipotle just based on he's from Ohio.
All right, we'll see you in
And
court.
that's like, all right, bye. Okay, so he's saying things like, all I'm saying is this Chipotle is about to schmack, which is spelled SHHHHMACK.
And this is
Schmack.
so he would have been 20 years old
In 09, yeah.
in 09. And then he talks about Curito Burrito.
And I'm not familiar with this.
Is that a place?
I don't know.
Is there someone named Curito making burritos on his campus?
I mean, that is a mystery to me.
Mm.
But I do know that the flavors can't compare with Chipotle.
That's what he says,
Right.
claims, with
Right.
several exclamation points. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. So he really, you can tell that.
Chipotle!
Like, this is a man of passion. Okay. I think anyone who would have seen this would have been like, I want Taylor with this person. I want him with I want her with someone who like feels this much.
Yeah, I mean, liking Chipotle is like the most bland white thing you can do.
Bite your tongue, Chipotle.
So yeah, I guess they do belong together.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, the screenshot that you took, like, it's going off the page. How often that he tweets
He really talked about
Chipotle.
Chipotle a lot. He was really into it. He also talked about a squirrel at some point.
Yeah.
I just gave a squirrel
a squirrel,
Squirrel.
a piece of bread, and it straight smashed all of it. I had no
Do
idea.
you think that smashed is like he physically smashed it or he ate it? Because
No.
earlier
I think
he said this Chipotle is about to schmack.
I think there's a very big difference here between
Like it's
schmack
hitting
and
his
smash.
It's hitting his taste buds.
I would say that in the context of Chipotle, schmack actually means like it's good. Like it's about
gonna
to
be good.
it's schmacking.
Whereas the squirrel is actually attacking.
Smash is
the
actually
bread.
a verb, so it's to consume.
But so you think that he's not smashing it like smashing it. He's
No.
like smashing it like to smash is to eat.
Yes.
In the world of Travis.
In the world, yeah.
Kelce.
Yeah, in the vernacular of Kelce, yeah. I would
To
say.
smash is to eat. Okay.
Yeah, food.
Like I smash this guac.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I think that is absolutely correct.
I had no idea they ate bread like that.
Haha.
Which why would anyone know that?
Hashtag
haha,
crazy.
Hashtag crazy.
Well, I actually love this because I think this is a science experiment, right? This is field research.
Yeah, he's in college at the time. He's
Yeah.
exploring.
He's exploring. He's getting to know himself better.
Well, now he's
getting to know
out
the
of
world
college
better.
probably because this was 2 years after
So
the.
he's like 22. He's
Chipotle.
maybe just graduated, right?
Yeah, he's he's out of school and observing nature.
Okay, we have another one from 2011. It's such a nice day out as I stare from my math class.
Wait a minute, how long was this guy in school?
Maybe 4 years, maybe 5. I don't know. How long does it take to graduate college?
Well,
I
usually
didn't. A
when
thing
you're-
I didn't do to be.
So he was
clear.
20 in 2009, and then this is 2011.
Mm-hmm. So,
Usually you go to college when maybe he took a gap year.
yeah, it's hard to
He
say.
was in sports. They probably kept him around.
Wait, there was a scandal, right?
Do I could, if you want to know.
Yeah, I
the
would
Kyle,
like
go
an
off,
explanation.
In
please.
2008, he redshirted, which means you go to school that year, but you don't play. So it allows you to like get your bearings. So it's like his freshman year he didn't play football, and it didn't count against his eligibility.
Oh, he just ate Chipotle.
And then in 2009, the next year he played, and then the next year he was kicked off the team for smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't use a year of eligibility. And then the next year 2 years he played. So he went to school basically 2008 to 2012. So for 5 calendar years.
Okay.
But he missed 2 seasons in there. One because he redshirted is what they call it when you just sit and learn. And then one because of smoking weed. So he then went to the Chiefs in 2013 after that.
I see. Okay.
Thank God for Kyle.
Yeah, that's helpful.
It is. It's
and
good to know.
explains why he's in math class.
And
The year rules never apply to athletes because
Also
going to
the
school is
academic
fake.
rules. It's
It's
all
all
fake.
fake.
It's all
They're not
fake.
going.
At least
to
now they
learn.
acknowledge it, but back then they had to like skirt
Pretend,
around it
yeah,
with
like-
red shirting.
Oh, I'm in math class.
So maybe he had to tweet this.
Oh, maybe it was his obligation.
Yeah, like maybe they had like sort of a meeting, and they were like, "You."
Or maybe
tweet.
he was high on all that weed he was smoking that got him kicked out.
Well, notable about this tweet is that stare is spelled STAIR.
Like a flight of stairs.
Right, not like a.
Do you think it's code? Because, okay, but what we do know is that Taylor Swift is all about putting weird messages and Easter eggs in her stuff.
What do you think it's code for?
So maybe their love for each other is rooted in a deep love for code
Oh, okay.
and encrypting messages.
Yeah. What is the what is
As
the
I
Alan
stare
Turing
from my
thing?
math class, so maybe like I don't know. Well, also though Taylor Swift's messages are never that compelling. It's always like, oh, her favorite number is 4 and there were 4 eggs on the counter in that music video. Like, woo. So maybe it's just like there's a staircase in the math class.
I know less about Taylor Swift than I know about Travis, but I am happy for both of them. Okay, here's the last one that I think is important for a lot of reasons. This is April 27th, 2011. Went from class to therapy. Now I need some Chipotle. And then I'm off to check out my new APT, which I think is probably an apartment.
Code for apartment.
It's
maybe.
code.
Yeah.
It's code for apartment.
I want to know what they talked about in therapy that day. I want a play to be written about that therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
Went from class to therapy. Do you think it was the math class with the stairs?
We can't know that. I can't know that. Like, you mean what they talked about in therapy?
Yeah. What did you think he talked about in therapy?
I wonder a lot about what men talk about in therapy. I really do wonder. Especially someone who's like doing well, who's like attractive.
Well, you
on
can
the
go to
football
therapy. You should
team.
be going to therapy. I mean, I haven't been to therapy in a little while, but if you can tell, but you should always be in therapy, like, regardless of.
Maybe here's what I hope. I hope he was like, I don't know, I'm just feeling really good today. Even better.
What if he was like, I met this
what
girl,
if he's like, I'm
Taylor.
feeling 22 today.
I'm feeling 22.
And that's what he says in therapy.
Maybe. I mean, was Taylor active in 2011?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What era would that have been? 'Cause that's what she's all about, right? Eras.
Maybe her fearless era. I don't really know.
Well, you're just saying things.
Well, I mean she was like this was her country era.
Her country era?
I think so.
Swift 2011. We can find this out. Oh, wait,
Surely.
that says 2021. Maybe we can't find this out. Well, so do you have any like theories about like what drew you to this topic?
I really dislike the discourse around Travis being stupid. I don't think Travis is stupid.
She won
at
Entertainer
all.
of the Year by the Academy of Country Music in 2001.
Okay, so she was in her country
doing
era.
sort
And
of
I
her
wonder if he had a
fearless
crush
era.
on her then. I kind of assume.
And then
he was
what they
aware of
just
her.
like, yeah.
I think Travis has this like persona of being like big dumb jock.
Travis, you know him, Mr. Kelce.
T.
C.
TC. The thing I called Travis Kelce.
Travis and I.
TC,
Mr.
when
Kelce.
I think about him, it's just like an unintelligible nickname. Tease. I think that he just deserves a little more credit. I think that he is super, super sweet.
What?
I think he's a good person.
He's lavished in money and praise and constant attention. What more credit is he due?
I just don't think it's fair to call him stupid
Are
because
people
he
calling him
misspells
stupid?
words. Yes.
Because he misspells words?
In these tweets.
Well, that's
yeah.
just mean.
It's mean, and I
It's
think
also
it's
just
inaccurate.
like the consequence of these tweets are so like banal. Like,
yeah, there's really
it's like they dug up
nothing.
a giant well of who cares. Just like,
yeah, there's really nothing there. But it is interesting. I think all this to say, I think Travis Kelce is one of the good ones, men-wise.
oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
your conclusion on
That's
this.
my conclusion.
All right, I like that. I would like to call attention to Taylor Swift, who's such a big part of who Travis Kelce is.
Sure.
Because what if
Well,
Travis Kelce is not real
Okay, go off.
and is just like, I feel like once you enter the orbit of Taylor Swift, everything comes into question.
Okay.
Because
what-
that is just a whole machination. There's nothing that she does that is just like normal human stuff.
No, it doesn't
She
seem
doesn't
that way. She's
meet
too famous.
guys and date them.
Right.
She's too rich and famous and crazy.
Right. She doesn't have a normal life. Yeah, but I don't think it's fair to say that she's a huge part of who Travis Kelce is. I think they've been dating for under a year.
I think that it would be fair to say that she probably thinks that she's a big, huge part of who Travis Kelce is.
I don't know.
You think that Taylor Swift is sitting there just like, wow, I'm so glad that I met a man who like eclipses me.
No, I don't think she's thinking that he eclipses her. Wow, he's so much better than I am.
So much. Well, what I'm saying is that in a relationship, one is the winner and one is the loser.
Okay, just hypothetically, in this room, who would you say is the winner? Who would you say is the loser?
No.
No. As you've brought this,
I don't know the rabbit hole that I'm digging in. I'm suspicious of Taylor Swift and everything that comes into her orbit.
Okay.
Not like I like her. I enjoy her music. I
Yeah.
think she's great. There's something about the phenomena that she like riles up that unsettles me a little.
Sure. Yeah.
Which is like you can look at Taylor Swift, and this is all obviously opinion. Duh.
This is fact.
Might
This
be
is
fact 'cause I'm
all
saying
in
it.
the script.
But so it's like you have Beyonce and you have Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
There's something about the phenomenon that Beyonce riles up that feels very organic and almost like spiritual. It's like, you know, there's a deeper connect. It's like, you know, she's a Black person. She's been around for so long and she has such a storied career. There's such a, when people are connecting with Beyonce on that level, there's a lot there, I think, that makes sense.
I think another important distinction between the two of them is that Beyonce was sort of forced into her career by like her dad, and then Taylor Swift
kind of
would have done
her
anything
family,
to have gotten this career. Yeah, forced her family sort of into this life.
So there's something
one of them seemed to want it.
The phenomenon of Taylor that is feels a little sinister. Like, here is this woman of great, she's very talented, obviously.
Yeah, very.
No one's questioning her intelligence and like etc. But like there's something about it that feels weird. Like, and maybe just by virtue of her being a white person. It could be. Like that all white people in power are sinister, which is, I think, to a degree true. Sure. Although let's talk about the fan who died.
Okay.
So notably, I made in the notes, I wrote notably question comma. A fan of Taylor Swift named Anna Clara Benavides. Where are we on time? Sorry.
37.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We'll wrap this up soon. A fan of Taylor Swift named Ana Clara Benavides Machado died prior to the Taylor Swift Eras concert in Rio de Janeiro.
I'm so sorry.
Well, let's do it again and we'll time it.
No, yeah,
we'll
no. It
time
stays.
it, not assuming that I'm gonna fuck up Rio de Janeiro.
It's not even gonna be recording.
We're not even recording this.
So what they will hear is that I just start laughing hysterically.
Which they're used to at this point. Okay. Rio de Janeiro. So a Taylor Swift fan dies because the conditions at this concert are just not humane. Like, you know, they didn't have any water.
Too hot.
Too many people. Yeah. Too, like, you know, they're packing them in there and this fan just like dies.
Yeah.
And Swift spoke out via Instagram story hours after the show took place. I can't believe I'm writing these words, but it is with a shattered heart that I say we lost a fan earlier tonight, which is a weird way to say it.
We lost a fan.
We lost a fan. Okay, what about a girl died? Not we lost a fan like at
someone
the zoo.
Who loved me.
Yeah,
was lost.
It's very weird to me that you would say like we lost a fan.
I mean, I get it. I get
like
it because of the context of the entire situation. It is correct, but it is weird too.
You literally are. This girl has died, and what you do is you say we lost a fan.
A Swiftie has sashayed away.
Yeah, we lost a fan. AKA number one, the only thing she was in relation to me, which was a fan. Number two, she doesn't have a name. She's just a fan, which I get. Maybe there's like legal reasons she didn't say her name. Blah blah blah.
It's hard to say.
But she was a fan first and foremost, and we have lost her. Like it's war. Like there is some battle where it's some like, you know, one of our noble pawns has fallen to the British. Like it's just a weird way to say it. Okay, yeah. I'm calling her out.
Wow. You heard it here very first.
Okay. Is it a shattered heart that I say we lost episode? Yeah, basically she centers herself in the death of this poor girl for my show. I can't even tell you how devastated I am by this, except you can because you're telling us now. I hate it when people do that. They're like, I don't even have words. It's like, well, but you're saying words. Yeah. There's very little information I have other than the fact that she was so incredibly beautiful and far too young. To die at a Taylor Swift concert? Probably yes. Swift noted that she would not address the loss on stage. I'm not going to be able to speak about this from stage because I feel overwhelmed by grief when I even try to talk about it, which it just happened. So like, why does she keep bringing it up? Like every time I try to talk about it over the years, it's brought me to emotions. I'm not here to, okay, I want to say now, blah, 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 blah. This is the last thing I ever thought would happen when we decided to bring this tour to Brazil. First of all, way to blame Brazil. Okay, there's a couple things here. I understand that like there's a whole team. Everyone's like, well, you have to say this. You don't want to implicate yourself. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, then don't say anything.
I think that Taylor Swift has sort of throughout her career been scrutinized for not really taking a stance on a lot of like political things or a lot of difficult things. And this sort of like, I think that this is a very calculated way to talk about this. I don't think it's very like, I don't know. I don't know what she could have said better. Maybe like I don't know the legal implications of any of it. Like what she was allowed to say.
Because my initial thought was like, okay, you go out on stage and you make the whole concert about her and you dedicate it to her and you all have a good time.
Sure.
Celebrating the life of this person. But then it's like, okay, well maybe that makes her
person died
liable.
like 30 minutes ago too. Like it's weird to be like, all
I
right,
know.
celebration of life.
I'm being a bitch. Like there's no good way to react to this.
No,
but
there's not.
It is sinister, and also I think part of it is like, you know, Taylor Swift has this whole thing of like, well, I'm in charge of everything, all production and da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm producing my own movie, all that, which is great. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, then, yeah, you're the person in charge, so you are responsible for this.
Yeah.
Like, you do have blood on your hands on some level, because it's like, then if you're in charge of everything, then why did this girl die?
I think it would have been great to be like, hey, this happened because this facility, like my show, refused to let people bring water in. Like they refused to let people bring water into the venue, and this is definitely something that should be rethought.
Well, and then they did the whole show.
Yeah.
The whole, like, imagine, I mean, look, I know it's easy to jeer from the cheap seats. Imagine being so self-centered.
Yeah.
That you truly think that the death of a person does not warrant the cancellation of your show because it will devastate the fans. On no planet is that true. That their devastation from the show being canceled outweighs the fact that someone died because of the conditions of the concert. So just out of an abundance of caution, we're going to shut the whole thing down.
I mean, and also just like
no amount of money.
Yeah.
No, it's a nightmare. Like, I'm not saying that like Taylor Swift invited death to her concerts.
No,
but
not at all.
It does reflect on how we treat these situations, how we look at people, specifically how we look at people of color as expendable, as like, you know, a fan that we lost. Like, I don't know. You go to Brazil, you do your big show, there's no water, a girl, specifically a Brazilian girl, dies. It's a little bit more intense. Like, you know, you got to be really, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I can't imagine being in the position where you're so, like, where that's even a question. But it actually is, like, a question. Cancel the show or like, keep doing the show.
Well, now the narrative is, like, Travis Kelce, bringing it back to him, like, comforting her. Like, you know, like, what? Like, wow, she's so... It's like, of course, it's centered on Taylor's grief.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, like there's just something about her that is so sinister to me.
I think that's fair. It is like, it's sticky. It's all very sticky. I feel like the only thing I can say for sure is like, let people bring water into large spaces.
The takeaway of this entire topic.
This whole podcast.
Drink a lot of water.
Is get hydrated.
All right.
Yeah.
So we move on to my topic?
Yeah, I think it'll be a smooth segue.
Okay, so my topic is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, perfect film.
Would you like
me to read?
Yeah, I'd like you to educate us.
Okay. Did you write anything that you'd like me to say?
No.
Oh.
Just some information, maybe some background. So
perfect. Here's what I hear.
Yeah, the first installment of the Peter Jackson.
The Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring is a 2001 epic fantasy adventure film directed by Peter Jackson from a screenplay by Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, and Jackson, based on 1954's The Fellowship of the Ring, the first volume of the novel The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, some book.
It's a book. It's long. I didn't read it. The film is the first installment in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It features an ensemble cast including Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Liv Tyler, Viggo Mortensen, Sean Astin, Cate Blanchett, John Rhys Davies, is that how you say that? Billy Boyd, Dominic Monaghan, Orlando Bloom, Christopher Lee.
Orlando Bloom, days after graduating acting school.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Good for him.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee, Hugo Weaving, Sean Bean, Ian Holm, and Andy Serkis. Andy
and Fran
Serkis.
Drescher.
Andy Serkis is the only actor in the world, I think. Like,
who does he play?
Gollum.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I'm getting ahead of it. Gollum doesn't have a single line in the Fellowship of the Ring, does he? Oh,
Yeah,
he does
he does.
at the beginning when they're talking about.
Yeah. Shire, Baggins. That's
Yeah.
what he says.
Oh, that line. So
Yeah.
while they're like doing that torture device
Yeah,
that just looks, it's like.
They're like kind of stretching him
And
out.
it's sort of
maybe.
like, what are they doing? It's like, are they stretching him out? Are they pouring coals on him?
We don't see. We don't know.
I need the infographic.
Your brain has to make up whatever torture Gollum
Which is the worst when they do that. That's like in Star Wars when they had the little interrogation droid in the first in A New Hope and it tortures Princess Leia, but you never see it. And then we're just left wondering, like, what is that floating circle
It's
gonna
so much
do?
worse to not know.
There's so much.
Okay,
But I
what
did
made you
find out.
pick this topic?
I recently was watching The Two Towers, and so I wanted to. We share a love of the Lord of the Rings
We do.
movies that Peter Jackson did. And I just thought it was a hot topic. It's always a hot topic.
It's never not a hot topic.
When is it not?
It never cools off. It's never quite cool.
When I saw this movie, I saw it in theaters as a youth, and my mom was bringing us to the cinema. Me and my my older sister. I lied there for a moment.
Yeah, wow. We're all
Um,
wondering.
And my sister kind of picked the movie. And at the end, when the Uruk-hai gets his head chopped off, my mother turned to her in the theater and said, "You knew this would be violent. You knew." She was like 11. So that's just a little glimpse into childhood. But
I saw it for
that
the
stuck
first
with me.
time because my brother wanted to watch it. I did not want to watch these movies at all. I was not interested. I did not want to see them. I didn't go in theaters. We were visiting my aunt in Colorado and we rented it. And I was like, I don't want to see this shit at all.
you didn't see it in theaters. You don't need
No.
to brag about how young you are.
I was 4, 5. And I watched it because I had to because my family made me. I threw a fit. I threw a huge fit because I wanted to watch something else. And then
Barney's
I watched it
Big
and I was like,
Adventure.
this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's good.
I fell in love. It's so good.
It's a really good movie. A
Yeah.
film.
Film.
And they filmed them all concurrently.
Yeah, I didn't
The
know
whole
that.
thing.
Just bam, bam, bam.
Which is so smart.
yeah,
It's a really good way to do it because then the continuity is just so good.
yeah.
So Fellowship of the Ring, of course, is the first. And that, for those of you who don't know the plot of Lord of the Rings, set in Middle Earth, no football. The story, they don't play that game there. The story tells
Actually,
of the,
they do in the Silmarillion, but it didn't make it into the cut.
but it's not American football. It's not
No,
the
it is.
Really? Oh. Actually, Travis Kelce is in.
He's in it.
He plays the Misty Mountains.
He's the Misty Mountains tight end.
Yeah. The story tells of the Dark Lord Sauron, who seeks the One Ring, which contains part of his might to
Yeah.
return to power.
Yeah.
The ring, which is capitalized, I'll note, it's a person. Who played the ring?
I don't know.
Like, do you think there
What
was
if
an
it's
actor?
also Sean Bean?
What if there's an actor that they were recording off camera and like the sound of just sitting there really tense and acting, and that's what we're hearing?
Oh, that would be crazy.
That would be next level. I want that part. The ring has found its way to the young hobbit Frodo Baggins, via Bilbo Baggins, of course. The fate of Middle-earth hangs in the balance as Frodo and 8 companions who form the Fellowship of the Ring begin their perilous journey to Mount Doom in the land of Mordor, or as Aragorn always says, Mordor.
They all always say that.
They love to trill the R's on
Mordor, yeah.
Mordor.
Yeah.
Like it's in Spain or something.
Yeah.
Mordor. So odd.
It is canon. It is canon.
It's canon to say it like that. The only place where the ring can be destroyed. The
Yeah.
Fellowship of the Ring was financed and distributed by American studio New Line Cinema, but filmed and edited entirely in Jackson's native New Zealand. So
Yeah.
that's a little background.
It's
Who's your favorite character in the Fellowship?
In the
Just 8.
Fellowship?
Yeah.
I just recently rewatched the entire trilogy. Kyle and I watched the extended cuts, which I had never seen before.
Which you're not living if you're not watching that.
No, they're completely different movies. I mean, okay, Gandalf is my favorite character. But this watch through, I was like, Sam is slept on. Sam is cool the whole time.
Yeah, Sam's great.
Yeah. Yeah, what about you?
And
Who's your
probably
favorite?
such a good cook.
Yeah, an amazing cook, like just really
and hobbits
positive.
are just eating pies and cheese. Of the Fellowship, I kind of like the character of Boromir.
Interesting,
Because he's the most kind of like
corruptible.
The most compelling in the initial Fellowship, where it's like he's going through this experience of corruption, but we find out that it's like to serve Gondor, and that there's real tension there and like father stuff going on. And
Boromir has daddy issues.
Yeah, and like Boromir definitely has daddy issues, and he,
even though he's the favorite,
but
his
that's
daddy
even
loves
worse.
him. Yeah, horrible.
And so he dies this like really conflicted death. Whereas sometimes the other characters, I'm like, are you really just that good? You're just that noble.
Yeah.
You're just like so selfless. I mean, Gimli also not slept on. Gimli's not slept
Love
on.
Gimli.
Kind of shoved in our
Gimli
faces
so
as
much.
comic relief.
He's
really.
he's so funny. He's so good.
Oh! that's
What
my
is that?
Gimli.
What?
What it was me thinking in my head, I have a good Gimli, and then it started to come out. I realized that it wasn't, so I abandoned it before I said a line.
It sounded like Homer Simpson trying to do an impression of any of the Fellowship of the Ring. Oh.
Gimli is funny, but not. I don't know.
Do you think he
It's
tries
a little
too
like
hard?
waka waka for me, like a little on the nose.
Yeah, I get that. I just to tie it back to more of the things that we've been talking about. I've been trying to think like if Travis Kelce was a member of the Fellowship, like which one would he be? And I've landed on
Boromir.
No, I think he would be Legolas.
What?
I think he would be Legolas.
Where did you get that? How would he be Legolas?
Because
Legolas would never misspell Chipotle.
Legolas
First of all, Legolas.
Okay, I think if we all found out that Legolas couldn't spell, we wouldn't care. We'd be like, yeah, he's not here to spell Chipotle.
Bailey, I've heard some wrong takes in my life.
Listen,
but I don't think anything has been more wrong than you in this moment.
I know, I'm completely right. I thought Boromir at first too, but then I was like, he wouldn't try to like kill anyone though.
No,
he's
okay.
not that corruptible.
Listen, Legolas is Legolas. Mock me. Kyle's laughing at me. Why?
Because it sounded insane when you said Legolas.
Legolas.
You sounded like my mom trying to order a croissant at Starbucks.
I'll take 3 Legolas.
I'll take a croissant.
A local croissant. Legolas is his whole character is built around his perfection, set against Gimli's bumbliness.
Okay, that
He
is
is
verbatim
like
Travis
essentially-
Kelce and Patrick Mahomes.
But Legolas would never misspell a tweet. It would be very out of character for him.
No, that's why I think
Clearly.
these tweets are important. because no one expected him to
I think looking at Travis Kelce and following his career, we all could be like, I wonder if there's probably some misspelled things.
Do you
in
think
his past.
Boromir? I don't think Boromir would misspell anything. I think Boromir would be the kind of person who, like, on the internet would be like, it's whom?
No.
It's actually there with a little.
That would be
asterisk.
Legolas.
No, Legolas doesn't have
Boromir
the time.
his whole character is built around his humanity, his corruptibility, his innocence in some way, like that gets tainted.
Sure.
Also, Boromir is like a star athlete character who then gets corrupted by the Ring, who is Taylor Swift.
The Ring is not Taylor Swift.
The Ring is absolutely Taylor Swift.
No, Taylor Swift could be destroyed in any volcano.
That's true. She would survive. She's the undestroyable Ring. Well, apparently Rio de Janeiro was Taylor Swift's Mordor, in a way.
Okay.
Also hot. But so, yeah, Taylor
Also
Swift is the
hot.
Ring of Power.
You leaning and going, also hot.
The Ring of Power is Taylor Swift.
Okay. in
Boromir
your
is
narrative,
Travis Kelce.
In your narrative, sure.
I don't understand where you're getting Legolas for that.
I just think that like he's too good. Like he's too good at what he does. He like okay, and like
But so is Boromir is like a championing warrior who then is discovered to be fallible.
I think Boromir is kind of like a clumsy fuck. Like at the very beginning of the Fellowship, when he's in the room that has the shards of the blade that was broken, of Isildur's blade.
He cuts himself.
He cuts himself and then he drops it and then he doesn't pick it up and then he's like weird with Aragorn. Like I just think he's problematic through and through.
He's the most human.
Yeah, in that he's one of two humans that are in the Fellowship.
Humans that are in the Who's he? Well, Aragorn's kind of a human. He's
That's
like,
true.
But he's got magic adjacent.
Which I didn't know until watching the
the extended
cut.
edition when you find out that he's actually 80 years old.
I spit out my water.
Because he's
like,
of the, what was it, Numenor people?
Yeah, he's got Numenor blood.
He's got
running through his
Numenor
veins.
blood, so he lives forever. So really, Boromir is the only human in the Fellowship, making him both the most relevant to us as the viewers, unless you're, somehow not human, watching the Fellowship of the Ring, and the most corruptible, and thereby kind of the most interesting. Because we know that, like, everyone else is going to fall into line.
Yeah.
But he breaks up the Fellowship with his humanity.
That's true. That's true.
Travis Kelce will, I don't know, break up American football.
Putting a curse on the NFL? On the NFL's golden boy right now?
On the NFL's golden boy, which also, who cares how authentic they're, but yeah, Taylor Swift is the Ring, or Sauron.
Or Saruman. I'm just throwing wrenches.
You're just throwing wrenches. Who would Saruman be in all this?
I don't know enough football to know who Saruman
Are there other
would
football
be.
players?
Yeah.
No.
It's just Travis Kelce.
It's just Travis Kelce and a bunch of like bots. And then did you know that I found out so for those close-up scenes when the Ring is like in the snow, they have a huge ring prop.
I
just
saw
be
that.
on that set.
I know. I want to get you one of those giant rings for Christmas. I think that would be fun.
Get me a giant Taylor Swift for Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, this movie is so good. I think that it must have been, and I don't remember feeling this way, but it must have been really hard finishing it and then having to wait like another year for the Two Towers, because it doesn't end. It's not a satisfying ending at all.
Although they all feel, they're also long.
They're so long.
That I remember being like, okay, it's all over. Like as a child, I just thought each one that ended, I was like, okay, it's over.
Like the whole story.
The whole story's over.
You were like,
I was so ready
tired.
to leave the theater, and then I was like, wait, there's another one.
Yeah.
And then, but that's also exciting because so much content. And then the extended edition, and now it's like, I give Peter Jackson, between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and not wanting, but needing to rewatch them, I give him 24 hours of my year at least every year.
I mean, it is so much. It's such a big world, and I feel like they only scratched the surface of it. Like no one has tackled the Silmarillion yet. I guess that Amazon Prime show attempted to do a little bit, but they didn't have.
Well, they can't. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have.
They only had rights to the Lord of the Rings and the footnotes of the Silmarillion.
Which is.
Imagine making a series off of footnotes.
Yeah. I mean, I can because I watched it.
I know. We hated that.
Yeah,
we didn't care for it.
It was not good.
Amazon had no business there. And the elves all had weird hair.
Oh, the worst hair. The worst hair and makeup.
Everyone had hair problems.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, the Peter Jackson trilogy, what you don't realize is how much of it hangs on the hair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are our topics.
Yeah.
And that's our show.
Yeah. Do you want to ask each other questions? Do you have a question prepared?
Let's do one question.
Okay. This is some advice that I'm needing from you.
Okay.
Do you ever find yourself in like a group conversation and you're interested in the main conversation, but someone next to you is like takes the opportunity to pull you aside and like talk to you about something else?
I don't end up in a lot of groups. specifically for that
So
reason.
you cannot relate to this feeling at all.
I-
where there's a bigger conversation happening and someone else takes that and they're like, okay, so like I was going to say.
I actually
earlier.
can
Yeah.
shape it a little. I was in a city hall meeting for the city of West Hollywood on Monday, and a caller was doing public comment on Rosalind Carter's life. And he was an Iranian immigrant who was telling this beautiful story about like how the Carters like were so like wonderful and set this great example of like welcoming. And I was crying because it was so beautiful. And the guy next to me was trying to ask me who was talking the whole time during this beautiful public comment, and then is trying to get my attention. Is like, wait, do you know where Darwin went?
Hey, where's the shitter in this
I have
joint?
tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm clearly so engaged. And he's just like, where's the bathroom? Do you just like fully pulling me out? So yes, and the advice, I just like stared at him curtly.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is like, what do you do when you don't want to be a part of that conversation at all?
I don't know. People are so volatile that it doesn't even feel like you are allowed to be honest. Where it's
know.
like in an ideal world, you would be like, I'm trying to pay attention to this conversation. Let's talk about this later. But then that would turn into a whole saga.
They'd be like, wow, you fucking snapped at
You
me.
silenced me.
You silenced me.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. If anyone is listening to this and you have
could always
thoughts,
just stab them. Then they'll stop
and then you
trying
also
to have
don't have to
that
deal with it.
conversation with you.
I mean, that's a whole can of worms for you later.
Well, and also that probably the conversation that you were being pulled from would stop as well.
Yeah, that's true. But that is not an option.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you had to pick one television show that you could only watch for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Fleabag.
Okay.
Yeah. I love Fleabag. I think it's a perfect show.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. All right. That's our show. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you to Kyle.
For having us here in the studio.
Thank you to Pickle.
Thank you to Bailey.
Thank you to Hot Topic.
Yeah,
Don't
Hot
sue us
Topic.
ever. Don't ever
They
send
can
us a
try.
cease
We'll
and desist.
in fact do so. See you in court, Hot Topic. You and Taylor. I'm representing Anna.
Bye.
Bye.